So that's all looking pretty good there now. We'll be able to do something with that.
Man.
Welcome back. So this week, we start another week. Following on from where we were last week, we're now going to actually get everything into this car. So having pulled down, we've decided now we're going to completely wire the car, put a battery in it, turn the key, make sure everything works, no errors, and if we've got errors then Luke can trace those with his scan tool. So this is the dash we used to set up a pick apart job, and then this is the one that came out of the FG, the one I drove down here. So that's our good dash. This is our mock-up. So Darren's started pulling this one apart this morning. So where are you up to, mate? So
ready to pull plastics off.
Righto, so we're good to go. So in Ford's wisdom, this all stays bare metal. So this one being a pick apart job started to rust a fair bit, but this one's starting to do the same thing. So what we're going to do now is strip the wires off this one, get it off to the blasters, get it powder coated, and then later in the week we'll transfer all the electrics off of this one. This is the frame we cut up. So the width of the dash was about 15mm per side wider. So we've trimmed these brackets down, changed the hole so that it fits. So now we're going to transfer that into our good dash and our wiring, and that'll be this part of this week's job. So what are you doing now, mate?
Alright, so battery cable.
So one of the things everybody does is don't put heavy enough cable in, do they?
No, so this is a 50mm square cable. So it's actually MIG power wire, so this thing can handle well over 500 amps. So it should be more
500
than
amps?
Yes.
Okay.
So your regular cable that most people use doesn't handle as much cable. I get this from the industrial suppliers because I find it bang for buck. It's a lot better and it's double insulated and handles more power.
Okay, so we've managed to get that all the way down the side now, and then I'll head up the front there and have a look. So that runs along here, up into the pillar. This pillar must be getting a bit full now, mate, is it?
Oh yeah, she's got a little bit more to go in there yet.
So then along there with that one, we'll come down and go in, and then that'll go up into that power box from the FG. So that's all looking pretty good there now. We'll be able to do something with that.
Man.
Right, so the boys have just about got all this is the real dash, and it's just sitting in there with some cable ties, because I've just picked up the one we're going to use from the blaster. So how are we going, boys? What have we got left to find?
Everything's plugged in, except for I've got one plug left over. I can't seem to find anything for.
You think it was just an extra in the harness?
It's taped off, like it's taped up.
Alright, so we'll grab a colour code and see if we can find it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of whacking the seats in.
So earths are in.
Yes, all the earths are in factory locations on the front.
There's only the two earths here to tech screw for the time being to get those done, and
There was one on this side, wasn't there? No. Just that side.
that's about it.
Yeah, there's this. Are we worried about the centre console? We
No.
might be able to just put the shifter in.
Well, the issue is probably going to be that what plugs are left there? What's in the console is there?
So we just got that one there, which
So there's probably USBs or something, is there, that goes in the console?
that clicks to that.
That one clips into there.
There's a USB there. That looks like that'll probably be cigarette.
Yep.
And then, did it have window switches or anything in the centre?
No.
No. That's bloody Holden caper, mate, all that in the middle.
What about traction control or anything like that? Did it have a traction control button?
No.
No, that'd be a shifter then.
What's written on
It
it?
could be for reverse.
What's written on it?
Centre console.
You want to just hold this brake booster and I'll undo this nut so I can put this pedal box up.
So the joy of taking on a car that comes from another shop, or someone that started at home or whatever, is always that you're not sure what you're going to get. So when we had the engineer down last week, he noticed the pinion angle on the diff didn't look real flash. So I've done a whole lot of measurements for him, and from that it turns out we do have to move the rear end. So being an independent, the centre is attached with the main bracket, and our pinion annual's heading up and it needs to be really bit down. So we're just checking measurements now, And we're going to have to take the bracket off the middle and twist that centre bit around so that we get the pinion angle right, and that means that we can then make sure we don't have any vibrations through the driveline. Righto, so we've had to cut that cross member out of there. And see, it's just got a couple of tacks in it, so we left one corner attached to the car and cut through all the rest of it with a big 9-inch. And now we've got all that back in with the bolts in it to get our pinion angle to where we need it to be. So it's now 2.5 down where it was 2.5 up. So that'll now allow us, when we get a tail shaft made, that sitting at right height, that all the shafts are running in the right direction so that we don't get any vibrations. So it was a good pickup by Paul when it was here, and we're fortunate enough to get it when we did, because we didn't actually fit that. And I hadn't thought to check it, so a bit of a bonus that we got it and didn't find it out later on when it was all nicely painted.
What's going on here, Howard?
More goodies, mate. So this has actually been here a week. I've been meaning to open it up and have a look, because this has come down from the polisher. So this is the drip gutter moulds. If I can get it open.
Yeah, would I be right in saying drip mutter moulds?
Yeah.
And say like the trim on the grill that you've shown us in the previous videos, it's really handy sort of work, right?
It's very difficult work. The difficulty they face with the mouldings is they're so thin. So I think when Carl put the photos of this up on his page, I think he was saying they're like 0.6 of a mil thick. So he's got nothing to work with. Yeah. So that's the real problem. I mean, I wouldn't even have a go at it, because I can do a bit of polishing, but I really struggle with that process.
Is it a bit of a niche thing, you think, that kind of work?
Definitely. I mean, I've only know of a few people in Australia that do it. There might be others, but I only know of a couple. And
they do it and do a really great job, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be keen to see what we've got here, but here we go. So the idea of the tubing here is, because of the shape, we can actually not damage the... Oh, there's the bill.
This is no doubt an exciting part for you, Hound, because...
Well, it makes the car.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do all the work, have the flashes paint you want and all the rest of it, but if you don't have the little fine details right...
It looks...
Oh, he's got lots of packaging on it. Yeah, exactly. And no one makes these repo. So
yep.
you can buy Coupe ones repo, but you can't get sedan ones.
So I've no doubt there'd be a few hours in these.
So there we go.
Wow, that looks brand new.
So I bought these off a guy through Facebook, paid okay money for them, and then sent them off to Carl. He had to take all the dents out and fix all the scratches and then polish them up, and now we've got to get them on without making a mess of them. So we're on the parts chase again. So we needed some lights to go in here, so that the originals were a 7-inch, like a H4 globe, and they had a nice round face on them. So like that. So these are a set that Darren actually had from when he did his XB that was surplus to his needs, so they're brand new. Auto Power, don't know where they're from, made in India. But it's exactly what I'm looking for this car. Be nice to get a set of new old stock Hellas with the halogen and all written on it, but the sort of money they're bringing for all the Cobra boys, it's not going to matter for this car, and these look the part, they're the right shape. So they'll do the job just nicely. And then I'd already put together and made up the spotlights. So these fellas here, I did score some new old stock for these off the Facebook. The guy selling those, so he's obviously, I think, buying them direct out of Germany. So that's a new old stock lens. And then the back of it is actually a repo. It's one of the better repo versions that I found somewhere. Actually, I think they come with the car. So we've got those as well now, so they'll go in there. And we can put those, and Luke can hook those up to make sure they're going to work okay with the computer. So this PPG epoxy, I've been using this for a while now. I mainly use it on our bumper bar brackets, that sort of stuff, and actually on the underside of the car. So as you can see, it's an epoxy primer, it's a 2K, but I just really love it. It has that nice factory look. You know, you'd swear it was a brand new part. So that's been sandblasted with garnet and then 2 coats of this particular product, and it just has that nice satin, factory bracket look, which is really cool. So one of the other benefits with this product is you can actually wet it with base coat or DG. So the data sheet tells me that I can just put the paint straight over it. So when I'm doing bumper bar brackets, if they've got no damage on them, I can blast them, epoxy it, base coat, and then use a semi-gloss clear, and I end up with a result very similar to that in the finish and the gloss level, but it's fully coated with a clear lacquer. Righto, so rounding out the week, made a fair bit of progress on the dash and the wiring. Luke's back next week to put a battery in it, so we just got to terminate some of those heavy lines that run through to the boot and hook the headlights and stuff up. You can see, you would have seen in the photos, this is the dash that we're using, but the frame, we have another one that we've now done the black epoxy on. So this fascia and all will go on to the other frame, which has been made to fit inside these door pillars. That hopefully will put that to bed. I'm really hoping that we don't have too many computer glitches. So hopefully next week you'll be able to see that. This week I've also been trying Friday night. I did some work on the Coupe. Like I keep saying, I'm trying to get that out of here. So giving that a skim, I'll try and get that sealed up pretty much straight away now, and very close to seeing that out of here. Been a pretty good week. We're doing the diff as well, so I've got that approved by the engineer as well, so now we can weld that cross member back in and start tidying up all the loose ends on the underside.